Just outside of Austin, high as I've ever been. Just outside of Austin, I think I fell in love with you again.
My body temperature went up when you just did that. Do you know that you do that? You know that you do that.
All right, folks. Welcome back to the Eric Anders Lang Show. Gratefully brought to you by Precision Pro. Our friends, maybe our family, maybe we're related.
How many years before they become family?
Isn't it common law is like 10, so we got 6 to go?
Yeah, we'll check back in then. Episode 800.
The Precision Pro NX10, speak of the devil, is here. And if you haven't seen it yet, you need to. It is the first customizable rangefinder in golf. Literally, there's like an interchangeable side plate. I think it's pretty sick, actually. And so you can change the way your NX10 looks to fit your style. And you already know that. Yeah, so we got some RGC designs coming. Have you seen them yet?
I saw the makeshift ones because they came down and people were printing stuff off of in color and taping it to the sides.
Yeah.
But they're pretty sick.
Yeah, so we've got the RGC Rangefinder Part 2 basically coming. If you've always wanted a rangefinder, take your game to the next level by going to precisionpro.com. Playing with a rangefinder is a whole different game. So anyway, very excited to show you the new RGC rangefinder coming out with the NX10, which is, honestly, it's the best rangefinder they've ever made, and that's from their mouths. Not to say that the other ones aren't good, but it's fucking good. This show today, obviously, you know that we've got Lukas Nelson on the pod, which is, JoJo, hot take, said you said it was your favorite episode you've ever heard of the show.
I would say so. And I'm biased because I was there. But also, it was something we'd manifested a long time ago. We did a Q&A in December.
Yeah.
Forever ago. And I think you just played the song Just Outside of Austin on your phone.
That's true.
To the mic. And spoiler alert, you'll hear it again, but it won't be on a phone. It'll be because Lukas is singing it himself.
Did you get chills when he sang it on the show?
Yeah, and I got chills when I edited it, and then I got chills when I turned it into a TikTok, and then I got chills. So
it's on TikTok?
It's cold. Yeah, if you go over to TikTok now.
Is it on now?
Who knows?
Can I watch it and then listen? Can we listen to it on the show? That'd be a great feedback.
Are you one of the people, when you're listening to this, do you get up at 4 a.m. and hear the pod, or do you check it out in the afternoon? Because if you're at 4 a.m, go back to bed, hit the snooze.
Go to bed.
Listen to it later.
Quick updates from the RGC world. We've got a video coming out today that honestly, totally ridiculous, Scottish. What's the title of the video? Is there a title?
We've been going back and forth. I'm voting for the most illegal shot in golf. Bang, St. Andrews.
Yeah, I like that. So we were in St. Andrews, and there was this folklore of a person, mythical, ghostly figure that hit a shot from the Dunvegan, which is the world's most famous 19th hole, right off of the 18th green at St. Andrews. But it's not a direct sight line of the 18th green. So we thought, there's this story that I've heard is, can someone hit the green from the Dunvegan? It's about a pitching wedge. And we found a kid named Harrison Crow from Australia who offered to attempt the shot. And that's the YouTube video that's out today.
It's pretty awesome. A little special announcement at the end of the video. So go check it out immediately. And also, you got to go check out the new RGC Radio YouTube channel.
That's right. We've got YouTube videos on video now. YouTube, what the fuck did I just say? That doesn't make any sense. I'm a little tired. We've got podcasts on video on YouTube.
You've been asking for it. And not only are we going to be doing weekly pod videos, but also going back into the archive because Eric's been talking to some interesting people for years.
Oh, yeah. We got Sam Jackson in there.
Exactly. And people that, I don't
Bill
know.
Murray. Well, Bill Murray's not a full pod, but
we'll just put it on repeat.
It's a 7-minute interview.
Just go to the RGC Radio YouTube. Just watch Caddyshack there. Don't worry about the rights. We'll take it.
Yeah, so the RGC Radio YouTube channel, that is big news. So go check that out if you're kind of wanting to get into the deeper visual. Because, here, let's face it. This would be a good pod to watch on video because Lukas,
good-looking guy.
He's not a rough stone for me, He's just does it make any sense?
I don't know. I think it's more Rolling Stone gathers no moss, and no moss has been gathered on that fair-haired man.
He's just so... Lukas, if you're listening, thank you. Thank you for being in person.
Appreciate you. Great segue.
Yeah. And the last RGC news I have here is that the polos are out.
Oh, which one is your favorite?
I am a big... that's a tough question. There's 3 polos that are out. One has a flamingo, basically, and then the other is a palm tree with a golf club. I have the tattoo. It's hard not to love that one. But the other is the Pitted. It's a surfboard golfer. So I think I like the Franz, the palm tree golf club. What do you like?
I like the brown one. I like that colorway.
Yeah, that's the same one. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
We like the same one.
So we're on the same page.
We're on the same page. We're in the same room. We're on the same page. Same mic. All right. So thanks to Precision Pro. Without further ado, Lukas Nelson on the Eric Anders Lang Show.
We'll intro it later. Lukas, you like when one of my favorite things is kind of asking people how they see themselves, because I feel like you could see yourselves. Do you have multiple? First question: do you have multiple selves?
That is a long answer. Let's see. Do I have multiple selves? Yes. I mean, there's quite a few voices that pull me in different directions, but I think that I identify with the collective, unity of the universe in some ways. You know what I mean? Like I feel like we're all just one light of consciousness or self-awareness. And then we're kind of just living. Have you ever seen The Egg?
No.
See, The Egg is like this, it's like this online little video. Kurzgesagt. Have you heard of Kurzgesagt?
No.
So it's these science videos that are online. They're all animated and they're badass and they're super cool. And they go through all types of concepts and super fun stuff, like what would happen, like they break down like what happened when the asteroid hit the Earth and exactly but the animation's just incredible. It's been going on for a while, and it's sponsored by this app called Brilliant. Okay. Which is like you can pay $150 for the whole year and just take any class you want on any subject. So like, it's great. Like I'm taking an engineering class and molecular biology and stuff just because they make it super fun to like learn about these things. And I figure, what better way to spend time than just sort of learning. And so having said that, there's a little video by Kurzgesagt. It's called The Egg, and it talks about a philosophy that we're just like, this multidimensional sort of consciousness, really, that just sort of like you will be and live the perspective of every single human being or every single living thing or possible consciousness in an infinite amount of time as the universe just expands and contracts. Right? So you'll have you will experience life as every possible perspective. You'll be Gandhi, you'll be Hitler, you'll be, like you will experience every single possible lifetime over the eons, and just we don't remember it so that it's a lesson every time. And then you sort of like just, it's just all multidimensional theories and stuff. Like we're all experiencing, time relatively at once. And, and so, yeah, just fun stuff like that. So I do identify with the collective unity of the universe.
I guess it's not surprising. I mean, you spend your time, maybe you're in a small category of people that bring people together to feel something.
Man, I just feel like, sometimes I feel like we're playing violins on the Titanic, but also, you know what I mean? Sometimes I just feel like we're just like whistling in the dark, fiddling while Rome burns. But at the same time, I believe in the natural balance. Things just sort of, the more you step back and watch, you just see, all right, things are going to go this way and then they're going to come back this way. And then they're going to go this way, and just keeps going like that forever. And so I just, as John Lennon says, watching the wheels, playing music, trying to just have a good time, share a laugh. As Ricky Gervais says, he had a laugh, then found a lump. That's what he wants on his epitaph. That's kind of dark, but I thought he's funny. I love that. He did a whole 60-minute interview I watched last night where he's just walking through a graveyard and talking to, I forget the guy's name. He was kind of funny too. But they were walking through a graveyard and just contemplating death. I think Rinpoche says, if you're going to think of anything, contemplate the hour of your death. because it'll make you just appreciate life more. And like, where do you want to be at that point? You know, we just have like this tiny little sliver of time that we get to experience, at least that we're aware of our own experience. You know, we may, like I said, experience every possible reality, but you know, we only know about this moment in time. There's a great practice by the Buddhists where they make this sand mandala art. Have you seen that?
Mm-hmm.
They sit in a circle and they spend weeks just chiseling the tiniest little grains of sand into the most intricate portrait of sand art. And then the practice is, once it's all done, they chant, they pray, and then they just destroy it. And then they put it in a vessel, and then they just send it out to the water as a prayer, right? And that's life, right? The more intricate you get it, the more beautiful you make your life before the inevitable disappearance of everything, the more it means when it goes away. If it was just a pile of sand and you destroyed it, it doesn't mean as much. But like, the more intricate, the more focused, the more you just dive into life and do as best you can and have as much fun as you can, knowing that it's impermanent, the more beautiful it is and bittersweet it is and monumental and celebratory it is when you finally let go. You know, have to do the big letting go. Yeah. Yeah.
I feel like I feel like a lot of people probably get very emotional or even cry when you like sing or play guitar, and I'm there, and we're just talking.
No, it's the light we all share. It sounds cheesy as fuck, but it's the light. It really does. It's just like, you know. But the funny thing is there's these tropes, these sort of cliches that just last because they're real. You know, when they were doing acid back in the day and mushrooms, and they were like, oh my God, God is love, you know, and they're like, oh my God, love is the answer, you know,
right.
And it's just such an epiphany, because up until then you're like, oh yeah, of course, love is the answer, sure. But it's not until you really feel it that it becomes so much weightier.
Yeah.
Than like, and it's really hard to feel that. Like, it's hard to get to that place where you just suddenly like, what have I been worried about this whole time?
Why is it hard?
Because we play these stories and these, you know, we identify in such a local way to whatever's going on. It's almost like we get caught in the dream of what's happening, and we just get so caught up in and we forget to realize that we're just a speck of dust in a universe that's bigger than we can even comprehend. And, you know, like, when you can finally internalize that and not let it scare you, not let it be a dark thing, let it be, but you're also part of the cogs and wheels of the greatest machine that, you know, in comprehension, which is the unfolding of life itself, right? It's like, so you're part of something much greater than yourself. And whether you want to call it whatever, God or the universe or the multiverse or the, you know, or just not nowness or whatever, it's all relatable between us all. And it's cheesy as fuck when you think about it. But that cheese and that cringe for some, it's almost like, oh, I kind of like my dark place. I want to stay in that dark place. And that's just cheesy. That's just too positive, you know?
Yeah.
And I'm just like, no, man, let's fucking live it up, you know?
Based on the 10 minutes or so that we've been talking, you wouldn't strike me as a person that plays golf.
Oh, but golf is so Taoist, so Zen. You know, man, like, it's like, if you can play good golf, it's because you dove into it and put so much focus in it and just lost yourself and became, you know, really in tune with your body. I feel like you want to just dive into things that keep you rooted, right? And you got to be aware of your body and its movements. And and the less you think, the better you play. It's a metaphor for life. You know, it's like ninja-like when you can really hit a good shot, because it is that type of coordination. Really good golfers like Bo and, you know, Bo Hostler and Justin Thomas and and Tiger, of course, they get into this place where nothing else that matters. It's called Satori, which is the zone, right? Golf, music, all these things require tempo, require rhythm, require sort of an ability to let go of the last shot even, and try and erase that moment so that you come to the next one. Each moment in life is your shot. It's your golf shot. You know what I mean? Like, this podcast is a shot. You know what I mean? The better golf you play, the more attention and focus and presence you give to each shot. So it's really a lesson in being present. And how do you react when shit goes off? Like, do you get super pissed off and break your clubs? Like, we all have gotten that mad before, I'm sure. Some don't, some do, whatever. But you learn that, you take that, and you're like, oh, cool. That's my reaction to this. How can I just over time lessen that? And I think that spills over in the rest of life too.
I'm having an image of you backstage, walking on stage, and beginning to play music. Mm-hmm. And I'm wondering, when does that Satori settle in for you?
That's a good question. It's different every night, I think. It depends on your sort of where you're at, whether you're distracted or not, and how the crowd energy is and everything. But I've gotten to a level now that's sort of like in terms of relating it to golf, I'm at the professional level to the point where I know that if I have a bad show, it's still the equivalent of a 70 or a 71. You know what I mean? Like, that's a bad round for me in music. Like, if I have a few mistakes here and there, or if the sound's not quite great or whatever, I know that I can still get that crowd on their feet and dancing every single time without fail, or feeling something emotional at the right moments, bringing them on that journey. All of that, I've developed that skill enough, put enough focus and time into it, that Satori, it comes inevitably for most of the round or the show, whatever you want to, So at this point, I'm at that point where even if it's not that great, it's still really good, which is, comparable to a tour player,
So I'm new to Austin. It's been almost a little under 2 years for me, and I saw you play. I think it was the first show back at Anton's. Mm-hmm. And Anton's.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Well, we know all those guys, so we better get it right.
Here I would have done that forever. Yeah. And I hadn't heard the song. I think it's called "Just Outside of Austin," right?
Yeah.
And I was like overwhelmed with a feeling of like place and like, there's a few things that made me feel very like cemented here, like you do when you go somewhere new. And I mean, I'm just having this idea here. Could you sing the refrain?
I mean, I can try. Let's see. Just outside of Austin, high as I've ever been. Just outside of Austin, I think I fell in love with you again.
Dude, I came home and I played that on repeat for days.
It's
like I got hot. Like my body temperature went up when you just did that. Do you know that you do that? You know that you do that.
Oh, I don't know, man. I just try. What I'm doing is focusing on getting, like, whenever, even in those little moments, right? It's just like, all right, tuning. Am I in tune? Am I on key? What's the timbre of my voice? Is it soft? Does it sound harsh? Can I roll some highs off of it? All these things are part of the fun of it too. It's not like I'm in my head, but my consciousness is aware of these things. So I'm trying to it's almost like I'm trying to just paint it right in the lines,
Yeah. You spent a lot of time learning how to paint.
Yeah.
Like you worked very hard at it.
Yeah. I still continue to work hard on it. I mean, like I said, music is very much like, if you treat it like an art, if you treat it like a sport or something, it's just, you can just keep going and going and going and getting better and better and developing different sensibilities and the ability to like, just, it's like you're rendering this digital art almost in more and more high quality detail as time goes by, you know, and it just becomes, oh, I didn't notice that before, or, oh, you know, and even in terms of songwriting, like this next batch of songs that I'm writing are all geared towards just live show, having fun, sing-alongs, dancing, upbeat, good times, with a few good ballads in there, and you know, a well-rounded but like tempo-filled, just having fun. And so I'm trying to navigate the artistic waters, and also like how I want to present our show live and what type of environment I want to create. I want people to go and have fun and try and forget about the world for a bit, you know, and from all walks of life, from the, you know, right wing, left wing, it doesn't matter. Music is for bringing people together, and I think that's where I do think that there's power left in music to do that.
Yeah.
You know.
I'm curious, you know, you talked a little bit about Taoism, and I think we both share some interest in those kind of teachings and Stoicism. I'm kind of curious to know your position on, like, I mean, as a creator, are you invested in the process? You must be over the goal. Because I end up, you know, because you've made your creation, your passion, your work. And so I have found, for me personally, it is hard to snip the line that goes to goal and forget the goal and ignore the goal and remember that. So I came here for a purpose that is to create something that has a benefit of positive vibration.
I used to feel that way. I used to feel like I came here for any type of purpose. I kind of, when I was growing up, I like had this sort of dream, and I did sort of make a sort of inner pact that I wanted to give back as much as I take in life, and sort of at least create a flow, you know, and a balance, and not hoard energy, just be like a cancer cell in the body that just takes on too much and can't stop. You know, I don't want to be, I'd like to be able to recycle the energy I get into the community and into the world around me, and sort of be like, okay, if I'm being given this stuff, then I got to give back. And it doesn't feel like I'm doing it out of a sense of like wanting to change the world or feeling guilty about anything, or like, you know, I just do it because it feels natural to have like a balance in life. And it feels like it sort of makes sense to sort of, you know, like a rising tide lifts all ships, you know, like when my tide is rising, I'd like to bring up the people around me if I can, you know. And I'm really proud to see that a lot of other musicians are it's not a competitive vibe in music, which is really cool, at least in the type of music that we do. You know, it's more of like we just happen to respect what one another does, and we lift each other up. So yeah, but I never really feel like changing the world or doing any kind of that, like making, you know, the world is just a big back and forth of positive and negative, and it's going to be that way for eternity, and there's always going to be darkness. And I just sort of like being on the side of just being mellow and positive and light, because it's a lot easier on my nervous system. You know what I mean? It's like a lot easier to be that way. It's just more, I feel like when I just sit back and I let things happen, they tend to happen better than if I try and just assert myself too much.
Yeah.
I see that the natural order of things happens to be generally, seems to just flow in a good place, at least from my perspective, and which I recognize that, you know, every single person has a different experience in life, and I've gotten extremely lucky So I guess all I'm trying to do is just be appreciative of that luck and try not to get in the way of it, and just be, do what I do, have a laugh. And then hopefully when I'm, on my deathbed, I've got someone's hand to hold and family around, and we're just like, it's okay. It's where I'd like to be anywhere. That's hard on the road though.
Yeah.
All right, sorry for the harsh cut-in, but I wanted to expand on the topic of we were talking about deathbeds.
There's no way you're doing this right.
Let's do it. If you want to die tonight,
die right.
and by die I mean experience a deep sleep. What's the deepest sleep you've ever had, JoJo?
Such a good question. I've had some airplane sleeps where you wake up, you don't know where you are, both literally, metaphorically, and existentially.
The deepest sleep I've ever had was the night that you and I, mostly you, unpacked the 8 sleep at my house. The craziest thing about the 8 sleep is the listeners of the Erik Anders Lang Show, they don't even know who else has slept on the 8 sleep, because there have been guests of the show that I've talked to about the 8 sleep that have said, hey, can you cut that out? Not because they're not a fan of the 8 sleep. They're customers.
If anything, too big of fans of the 8 sleep.
Yeah, they're too big. And they were like, ultimately, I'm not an ambassador for the brand. I just was gone for a month. The thing I missed the most, I missed some things. I missed some people. I missed a dog. But I missed a bed.
Yeah. What was the first night like back?
Home?
Did it say, I missed you?
Dude, my mouth was watering. My mouth was watering to get into bed. Like I was just like, so, and you get into bed and you just feel like have you ever had something happen where you just feel so goddamn comfortable and safe?
Yes.
Yeah, that's that.
I've been in the womb before.
That's every night, dude. It's every night. Anyway.
You can go to 8sleep.com/EAL Show. You can redeem exclusive 4th of July savings and start sleeping cool this summer.
Here's the thing. It's currently shipping to the USA, Canada, the UK, which is new. They weren't doing that, I remember, because I was telling some friends in Scotland about it. The UK and select countries in the EU and Australia. So even though you may not live in America, you can celebrate your sleep freedom. Get independence of sleep problems. People age at different speeds, and the date on your license may not represent your inner biological age at all. You know how it is, racking up those extra miles.
Like an old Subaru in the icy climate of New England. I know it.
I was thinking of a wagon. Just a wagon on the Oregon Trail. Yeah. Just like,
you have contracted dysentery.
If you're looking for ways to extend your health span and slow down the aging process, the key to longevity is to understand your DNA. That's why Inside Tracker provides you with a personalized plan to improve your metabolism. I'm trying to do something different.
It's new ad, new speed.
Yeah, I'm trying to just like relax a bit into this, because they're related, but Inside Tracker, obviously, about Inside Tracker if you've been listening to the show. We're on a journey together, and at the end of this, I'm going to offer you 20% off everything in the store. But let me finish the ad first. You'll get a daily action plan with personalized guidance on the right exercise, nutrition, and supplementation for your body. Yeah, and you can get everything you need here. Inner Age 2.0 is interesting. Anyway, it's a definitive calculation of your true biological age. I'm waiting to get mine. I'm a little hesitant to open it up. Anyway, at the Inside Tracker store, you can take 20% off everything if you use the code EAL Show. Whatever they sell, it's going to be cheaper for you. Thank you for supporting the show, Inside Tracker. Just go to insidetracker.com/EAL Show.
As you kind of talk, I get filled with like a bunch of different thoughts about what we could talk about. I'm going to go back to the earlier one, which was we played golf. And we'll get into the story of the golf course that we played in a little bit. But when we played golf, you didn't strike me as a technical golfer. I'm wondering if you ever got into the technical aspect of your craft, like voice coach, things like that.
In terms of music?
Yeah, like guitar. Were you ever like, I want to learn this trick and I'm going to obsess about this thing, this riff?
Maybe earlier on when I first started, I was really into playing guitar. But then I got into this point where I realized that I felt that I could write songs better than I could. Like I knew that if I just spent 8 hours a day, which I used to do, playing guitar 24/7, I could be really technically proficient at it. And I still feel like I'm a pretty good guitar player, but I never wanted to go that extra mile because I felt like at a certain point I'm learning these other licks where I needed to get away from this idea of just, and I wanted to go towards like what comes out of me, what naturally comes out, and can I make a new sounds come up? Can I eventually, because when you're practicing like that and you're being very technical, you're watching videos, you're learning techniques that other people have perfected and that you're sort of just copying. And so at a certain point, I wanted to stop that and sort of like go away from that and go towards maybe a more play exactly the note that you hear that's needed, and let that guide how your playing develops. And with golf, I actually want to. I just haven't had time to really dedicate towards the technical aspect of it. Like there are days when I can play really well and I feel like my swing is really technically sound, and then it just goes away because I don't give enough of a constant effort to it. And that's the funny thing, is that I know that it's funny when people like who are scratch golfers and be like, oh, if I just applied myself, I could be pro. And it's like, yeah, man, no.
That's a lot of words.
If applying yourself means you quit work and spend the next 5 years every single day for 8 hours a day perfecting it, then yeah, maybe. Yeah. But, it's almost disrespectful to say to a pro player, like, oh yeah, if I just applied myself, because the level of talent between a scratch golfer and a PGA pro it's almost like the divide between Jeff Bezos and then the next closest millionaire.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's like, it's not in the same league. It's the amount of focus it takes. And that is very similar to music and guitar playing and shows and being comfortable on stage and all these things that go into being a professional musician that is a touring musician that can do well live and have songs that people remember. And, there's a whole plethora of things that go into actually having a lasting career in music. And so, that's a lot of the advice that I give to young people when they ask me, like, well, what should I do to get started? And I say, well, number one, you should have started a while ago. Number two, you better quit everything and dive in.
Yeah.
Just dive in, because there's so much you got to learn and there's so much you got to do. And you can't just do it half-assed if you really want to be an artist and a musician and truly make it. This is a very, very difficult path that's not rewarding for a long time in terms of any financial gain. That's for sure.
Right. I'm curious to know. I watched A Star Is Born and had a lot of personal connections to that film for a few different reasons. I'm curious, like, when you saw the finished product, like, what did you feel? Like, what moment in the film were you like, wow? Like, what did anything hit you where you just like felt it, where you saw the fruits of everybody's labor just come together in perfect harmony?
Yeah. When you watch it, you just see that, that frankly, Bradley knew exactly what he was doing. He brought a really good team around him and was just willing to put in the time and the work to make it a beautiful finished project, and
what a heartbreaker.
Yeah, I only saw it once. I couldn't watch it again.
Really? Why not?
Well, it's just a little heavy.
A little heavy.
It's
a little dark.
Yeah, well, and the end is like, I've experienced a little bit of that type of thing in my life, from friends and family members I've lost. So it's just one of those, it's like, like I'll only watch Schindler's List one time too. You know what I mean? Because it's just like, it was powerful. I needed to watch it. I was happy to watch it, but You know, it's funny though. Star is Born, the first hour and a half is very upbeat.
It's awesome. Yeah, you're stoked. You have
Like,
no idea what's
I'll
coming.
watch the first hour and a half again. That's
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah, as someone who's sober myself, like that was definitely like hard to ponder. What do you, I mean, being in a world where, to some extent, greatness is often linked with illness, if you will, or, you know, some type of like self-damaging behavior. I mean, you know, like music is always kind of, stories are always.
Yeah, man, that's, there's all kinds of paths that you can go down with music. And that's the dark path, man. That's like, that's where the devil comes in, it's like you don't, it's just not needed. It's a temptation, that self-destruction. It's like, it's not a temptation. It's more of like an ignorance. You don't know that there's a better way. A lot of times, a lot of people feel like they have to be like Icarus and fly into the sun. You know what I mean? They have to just give their whole souls, not just their lives, but their souls to the dream that they have, because that's my dream and I better just sacrifice everything to do that. And it's funny that there are studies that have been shown that that it's much more rewarding to have to put 80% of your efforts into 5 things in life, for example, in creating a family situation and making sure that if you have 80% of your attention on these, and you do these 5 things 80% well, it leads to a lasting sense of happiness in much more cases than those who go 110% into one field and give everything up, to do that. You don't really find a lot of happy people in that, with that in you. And a lot of people are willing in the beginning to sacrifice their own happiness. They're like, well, my happiness isn't important, especially if they believe that they're doing it for good or for the better of the world. And there are stories that people tell themselves to make themselves feel important, which is it's, and then they justify treating themselves bad or treating other people bad because to them the ends justify the means. And it's I think that's a dark path. I think it's better to just get as good as you can at all types of things to become a well-rounded human being. It's not that you don't give 100%. It's just that you're like, I never wanted to love Jimi Hendrix. I think I'm a huge fan of his. I'm a huge fan of how much he gave to his art. But I also feel sad for him because he gave so much attention to the idea of going out, being a star, having fame, giving it all, and then not treating himself well and not and neglecting other parts of his life that make longevity and growing and learning an impossibility. And so I can guarantee you, if he had the chance to do it over, he might have said, well, maybe I should also focus on how to treat myself well and build skills to last a long time in the business. And so I have these guys that I get to watch and see, like my dad, B.B. King, Bob Dylan, these guys that have sort of stood the test of time, and they have become, especially later in my life, my role models more than the Hendrix, who of course, all respect. But I just feel that there are those types of people that are more well-rounded, that I can take these, they can become my heroes, if you will, because it's a better example to follow.
What, kind of looking at that as an example of being a teaching for you, is there any kind of teaching that you find yourself going back to throughout your life, that you're like, it's a book or it's a something?
Yeah, all kinds.
What sticks out?
Siddhartha is a good book.
Ooh,
yeah. The Alchemist.
Siddhartha, the for those that haven't read it, that's the story of the Buddha as told by Hermann Hesse.
Yeah.
What is it about that? Because I haven't read that in a long. I read that in rehab.
Yeah.
So it's been a minute. What is it about that book that gets you?
It's just it's a story of coming into one's truth. Coming into one's enlightenment and sort of, it's the ultimate sort of hero's journey, right? You kind of pass through the fire and find the light. It's like
pass through the fire. What do you explain that? Go deeper.
Well, I mean, I think every archetypal hero goes through this dark point and the low point in their lives, and the sort of the thing is, if they can get the game is, if you will, that if you can stay strong and hold on and persevere through this darkness, then you come out obviously much stronger. It's the butterfly chrysalis, or the caterpillar chrysalis butterfly metaphor. It's like every sort of hero's journey has this point where they face the darkness, and I think it does tend to rear its head in every single buddy's life. And how you react to adversity is how who you become, I think. And so I always say I prefer to be around someone who's been to the depths of darkness and out, because I know that they've built their character far more than someone who's never had to go through that type of fire. And that doesn't mean that you have to sort of go, fire can be in your mind, in your heart, and depression, and or family situations that cause you to just get down, or all these things in life. But I believe in the individual power to overcome. And so when the hero, what we celebrate in stories like Siddhartha is, he was at the point where he was going to kill himself, and he pulled himself out. He had this epiphany and sort of got through it, and then became obviously the Buddha, which is sort of metaphorically that he spread his wings and became who he was meant to be. But he only could have gotten there by going to that dark place, So I think that's why it resonates, to answer your question, because we all kind of go through that.
Here at Random Golf Club, we believe in playing reckless golf, but staying safe at home. That's why I use and I recommend Simply Safe. Simply Safe is the advanced whole home security system that puts you, your home, and your family safe first. The last thing you need is someone getting in there and messing with the juju on your clubs. Because sometimes that happens. If you don't have Simply Safe, people will come over and they'll put grease on your clubs and things like that. So anyway, you all are aware of my 15-pound, 15-year-old poodle Bichon Maltese named Snowball. And as much as he is a barker, he's not a guard dog. So Simply Safe solves Snowball's problem so he can actually take a bit of a break, which is nice. 24/7 professional monitoring, not only against intruders and burglary, but also against expensive home hazards from flooding to fires. But Simply Safe does have agents. These are humans that act in a moment that a threat is detected, and they dispatch first responders in an emergency, even if you're not home, which is pretty cool. And the system is affordably priced at $1 a day. $1 a day, it's actually like kind of an insane deal. I feel like I've probably said that before too. But feeling safe shouldn't break the bank. $1 a day. I feel like Suzanne Summers. Anyway, you can customize the perfect system for your home in just a few minutes at simplysafe.com/EAL Show. Go today and claim a free indoor security camera plus 20% off with interactive monitoring. All right, folks. And this ad is really exciting because I ingest this material all the time.
It's carbon.
It's water. No, it's magnesium, folks. And here's the thing. I have been taking magnesium now for what? Like 2 months, I think, ever since we met Will Ahmed.
That's right, because he pitched it pretty hard.
He hit me with the mag thing, and I was just, now I take it, and I'm a restful bro.
And you've been using Optimizer's magnesium.
I literally rest in peace with Optimizer's
That's what
magnesium.
we care about sleep.
Yeah.
Truthfully, about 75% of people don't have enough magnesium. They have deficiency. They don't even know about it. And it explains why so many people have sleep problems.
When you can't just make magnesium, you have to literally consume it either through food, which is pretty hard to do. But this supplement is a great way to supply your supplement supplies with magnesium. Anyway, you take 2 capsules before you go to bed, and bam, you'll be amazed how much better you sleep. And so will Emerald. I feel a lot more rested when I wake up. If you want to feel the same way, go to magbreakthrough.com/EAL show. And use the code EAL Show for massive savings plus an additional 10% off any order.
Yeah, you've seen these savings. Like you go there, it's like 23% off.
Oh, right.
43% off.
Yeah, they are crazy savings, dude. Like you should go to Mag Breakthrough, MAG Breakthrough, THROUGH.com/EAL Show. The savings are kind of zany.
You were talking about how really hard it is to say, I'm going to go make this a job, whether it's a guitar, your voice, or the golf club. And I was thinking about you also are in a small group of people that I've played in a pro am before, like one day with a pro here and there, but you did that dance with a player this year with Bo Hostler.
Yeah.
You played at the AT&T at Pebble and Spyglass, and where's the other third course?
MPCC.
Yeah, MPCC. And you guys performed, and I'm just curious to know what was the thing that you saw out there with him, and you were just like, wow, like that is the hero's journey, like you talked about.
Well, it's funny because the first day was MPCC, and it would have been the longest round in PGA history, no joke. Except that another group finished 5 minutes before us. So we would have had the record for the longest round in PGA history. It was like 6.5 hours.
Wow.
And it was crazy conditions. Justin Rose told us, he said, these greens are faster than you'll ever play on the PGA Tour.
Really?
He was like, this is like open level. Like, this is really gnarly. And so I played the worst round of golf I've ever played in my life. Like I think I probably would have beaten my record if because I picked up a lot. I was just like, fuck it,
Yeah.
I'm just not going to play. Boop, boop, boop. It was just bad. Very bad. Played terrible. Whiffed it, missed the ball on some occasions. Like it was really bad, And I'm an 8 handicap, and at home in Maui, I'm shooting 75, 77, 81, 83. It's like I'm just doing my thing. Not Thursday. Or was it Thursday? Would have been the first day at MPCC. I nearly quit golf. I was like, it was one of those. Just like I remember looking at Doug Timmons, my caddy, and just being like, why do people do this? This is not fun.
This is horrible.
This is the most punishing thing. It was a long round. And Bo shot 1 over.
Whoa.
And so he was having struggles too, for him. Like we were talking about earlier, a struggle for him is, 1 over. And the funniest part was, I go up to the green. At one point I was just like, Bo, sorry, man, And I was like, this never happens to me. And he was like, And then the next day I came and it was just completely different. I think I shot 83 and I was getting like ups and downs and bombing it down. And I was really playing well. And then Bo started going off. And he just went like 6 under, something. He shot 65 or something, and that was a Spyglass.
Right.
And then Saturday was even better. It just kept getting better and better. And, I made a birdie on the par 5 14th, I think.
Oh, yeah, the long one up and to the right.
Up and to the right. And that was what got our team into the into the cut. That was what, because it was a birdie net eagle, because that's the number one handicap. So it was just enough to just get us in the slot for the cut in the team play. Bo had already made the cut by a while ago, but there were a couple great ups and downs, and so it just kept getting better and better. And I think I was just getting more comfortable. And then on Sunday, I was just bombing it, driving the ball super well, playing really well. Come to the last hole, 18. Beautiful draw down down the fairway, just beautiful, perfect shot. Second shot, I topped it in the water. And then it was just like, I was like, walk of shame in front of thousands of people, just like, that was the Sunday final shot for me.
Right.
But I was very grateful it didn't cost me $300,000 or whatever.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was just sort of funny that, like, I was just like playing lights out, and then, or playing pretty well, and then my I still didn't putt very well, but next time I go back, I think I'll be less nervous going into it and have a little more, But I think that, I wasn't really bothered by the crowd. I was bothered by, I was nervous from just I think it was just all the excitement. It just got me,
Yeah.
And it's hard, like with music, I can just channel that into something that I've been practicing enough to where I just lose myself and go into Satori. And I think that's what these pros do. They don't. I was talking to Bo, and we were just saying, yeah, it's like the same. Like, I can get, he came to the Luck reunion a while back, and he was saying, it's amazing that we could be talking backstage, and you're like, oh, I got to go on in 2 minutes, because I had to leave, and like, I was just going on stage in 2 minutes. And he's like, without any preparation, you just go and do your thing, and you have no fear. And I was like, yeah, well, it's the same. Like, and he was like, yeah, I can play in front of hundreds of thousands of people, and it's no different. It's not. I'm just still doing my thing. And so yeah, it's so many similarities between music and golf. It's kind of fun, yeah. So yeah, that was a beautiful time, and I actually was most proud of my driving on Sunday. It felt like I was just coming in the inside, just got more distance than I hit drives that I think with the adrenaline that I just was like, hitting it further than I usually do, and accurate, and it was fun. It was a good time.
I'm having like a kind of an image on top of another image, where I'm kind of seeing you playing with the pros at one of the most recognizable courses in the world in front of all these people, and then I'm reflecting on kind of where you learned to play the game.
I started when I was really young. When I was like 5, I was swinging a club with my dad at the golf course you played, right there. And I remember good, like, people saying, oh, he's got a good natural swing. Somehow I fucked that up over the years. But, I remember being like, wishing I wish that I had applied myself at that age a little more to golf, and just sort of been like, in lessons and done that, But yeah.
Tell me about the course.
Our course?
Yeah.
Well, it's Pedernales, cut and putt. Not a whole lot of rules. Winter rules all year long, It's a great layout. It's a really great layout, I feel like, and it's fun. Par 36. Beautiful area, as you guys got to see, and just it's perfect for a casual round, and you want to have fun, and you don't mind lifting it and placing it on a tuft of grass you find somewhere.
Tell me about the origin of the course. Like you
Yeah, Dad, he got it in 1970 something, before I was born.
And like, for the purpose of what?
So that he could. So it's right next to the studio that he records in. So he liked to be able to cut a track And then while they're doing the engineering, mixing everything, they like, okay, and then he goes and plays 9 holes and comes back and listens to it. You know, it's just cut and putt. You cut a track and go out and.
I thought it was cut like hit a fade.
No,
it's cut a track,
and then go play. Putt. Yeah.
Is that? Have there been any like kind of? Golf is an interesting game because it sort of attracts a very eclectic group of people. I've learned, right, and I didn't know that when I got started. You probably have examples of that to a degree that few do, as far as strange eclectic people coming out and trying golf or playing golf on the range.
Yeah. You meet all kinds of characters for sure. You know, playing golf. I like going to like a municipal course like Lions and just getting paired with somebody random. You know, I just backwards hat, sunglasses, try and keep low key, and you just get all kinds of characters.
And when they say, "What do you do?" What do you say?
Construction.
You are constructing something.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a live performance that gets kind of thrown away at the end to some extent, like a
Although that probably these days would just open up a whole conversation that I wouldn't be prepared. Oh yeah, like it's really going off right now, isn't it? I'll be like, yeah, it really is.
Those lumber prices.
Yeah, just did you know that cubic yard of dirt weighs 1,500 pounds?
It'd be great if they were. I thought of something like I can't remember. Max Homa had a tweet once where he was like, "I lied to my Uber driver about what I do for a living." He didn't say that he was a pro golfer, and he said that he did something else, and then it like he had to keep the lie going for the ride or something.
Right.
It'd be funny if if you said construction and then you went through with it, and they were like, and then you showed up and like did their yard or their back
they hired me.
Said he was a realtor.
Oh yeah, he said he was a realtor.
Yeah, a lot of questions ensued.
He said he kept going.
Oh really? I've been looking for places around here.
Yeah. I'm just so fascinated by the course, man. Like it's nothing like the game of golf that most people have in their heads. And I guess I'm just kind of trying to unpack, like, do you remember the first time you saw the Masters, for example?
No.
But it was a while ago. You were young.
Probably, yeah.
Golf was a big part of your life growing up.
It was. It was always something that my dad and I and my brother would do together. And just, and Dad's very casual about it, extremely casual. So, for him, the technical part never really was a factor. It was funny. I watched him hit a 3-wood on his 85th birthday. He hit a 3-wood from like 150 yards out and hold it for eagle. He really has this thing where he just like tapped into the universe and just like makes putts, and it's crazy. It's like he's very much like the epitome of field golf versus technical golf with him. And I think that he could have been scratch if he applied back in the day. But we both music is our thing, and so like we're okay with just kind of going on feel. I'd love to spend 3 months at in a golf academy situation, or just like have a coach really train me for that long to try and dial my swing in to get it more repeatable, to get it more But it just is very difficult to find the time to do that when I have other priorities,
Yeah, it's very time consuming.
Yeah.
How did your dad find golf? Did he grow up playing, or?
I don't know when he picked up golf, to be honest.
Yeah.
I'd have to ask him about it when he first played.
You also have like the it seems like the concepts that fascinate you most are very timeless and very much a journey of self-discovery. And from what I understand, you also have a real passion for the state of our technological world of being connected. And is that accurate?
In what way? What do you mean?
Well, I've read some things where you're kind of talking about kind of what a time to be alive, right? And we're talking about the ability to, you know, the website you mentioned earlier with teachings available.
Brilliant, yeah.
You know, there really is like a, you know, it's kind of like this sort of like technological spiritual duality that I'm getting at, which I'm a fan of, right? Like you're talking about how at some point we will traverse everyone's life, right? We will experience what it was like for everybody on Earth. And how does that then, you know, we look at the ability to transmit and download information at such a rapid speed. It's kind of an exciting time to be able to think deeply, but I think most people don't because we're consuming information in 30-second portions.
Yeah, you know, it's funny. Like, my last album was very, very introspective and sort of mellow, but like I've been writing now like fun party songs. You know, like I'm just trying to when I wrote a lot of them on the road, and I was like, I want to write songs that people can dance and sing along to for this next project. And so it really is sort of like an upbeat collection of there's really couple poignant songs in there, the ballads, and really, so it's a balance. But I think that I've just been kind of going away from, at least in terms of my music, of intellectualism and going towards just back to feel and back to heart and back to having fun. And letting people shed away, like just freaking, like the way Motown feels for me when I listen to Motown, you know, or the way that, but it's complicated in its own way in terms of the approach and the ability to just write songs that are infectious that way, but also make you feel something. And, you know,
so what do you think of pop music?
I think that it's a double-edged sword. There's good pop, there's bad pop, you know. I think that a lot of it is, it's just sort of what is behind the song. Like if it was born of something, like for example, that Billie Eilish is, you know, obviously an artist and super talented, and you know, Casey Musgraves, and you know, I mean, there are people who are, I mean, I can watch Casey sing. Like if she sat here and sang, she'd be just quite perfect sounding. Like her voice is very like smooth and perfect, which is amazing to be able to do. No vibrato, just to be able to, it's like a you know, just a perfect brush stroke, you know. But there's all kinds of great artists out there. Brandi Carlile is just super talented, you know, in terms of not pop, you know, like Billy Strings is one of my, I mean, Billy Strings is insane to me. Like, I mean, he's just fucking sick musician, and so fun, and like, you know, so there's a lot of different types of great music out there, and it's pop. Dua Lipa's fun, you know, like it's as far as pop goes, I really like that stuff, you know. At least it's not something I'll turn off, you know. You know, there are some pop songs that I'll be like, I don't like the energy of this one because I don't relate to it. You know what I mean? Like there's some that I'm just like, but then, you know, like this record I wrote, this record that I'm working on right now, it sort of harkens back to my party days and sort of gets back into that, like the time when I was really feeling like letting loose and letting go, and then, you know, the pitfalls of that, and like, but it's more like humorous and funny, and there's a lot of I think so I've been feeling like it's very philosophical, but in a sort of ironic way, you know, and it's fun to play live, which that's really where I have the most fun, is live, you know.
Okay, so some of you I know checked out the Breaking Series at Brookline, which is a tough course, by the way. Big thank you and for the support from our friends over at Abercrombie and Fitch. They just launched a new golf store, which is actually really cool, filled with a lot of designed options to make you feel comfy, even if you're shooting 1,000 at the oldest country club in America or at your local muni, crushing your friend. Personally, I'm a fan of the black rugby polos that they have. The polos are pretty sick. They're nice, thick material. But honestly, everything on the site is a nice blend. Jojo, you got a box of Abercrombie.
I might have gotten 1 or 2 boxes of Abercrombie. I shared it around.
You gave it to some people?
Yeah, I just opened up the box of the office. And you know how you always say when you get stuff and you open it up, people just come for it?
Oh, they come for it.
They came for this. It was like Night of the Living Dead. It was like 28 days later.
Did you get in any fights or anything?
No fights that couldn't be settled with some good old color black polos, nice socks, and no membership required hats.
The socks are good. Head over to Abercrombie.com and use code RGCAF. I want to say that's random golf club as fuck. Anyway, it's RGCAF to get 20% off all men's products, excluding clearance and fragrance. So no cheap candles, my guys. It's valid through the 29th. RGCAF at Abercrombie.com. It's good stuff.
Do you do Spotify playlists? Do you make how do you absorb your music? Do you listen to music?
Yeah, but like I'll listen to like a song or an album.
Oh, you're like intentional.
I'm usually pretty intentional when I like put on. I like having playlists. Sometimes people will make playlists and then send them to me, and I'll put them on.
How does that make you feel?
It's cool.
It's cool.
Yeah, I love learning. I love
make you a
listening
playlist.
to new music and stuff. You know.
So what do you do in the car?
A lot of times I'm listening right now to stuff that I'm working on.
Right. Why is
or I'll just put on something like Chopin or like I'm working on a piece by Chopin piano wise. So and then there's sometimes where I'll play like one of my favorite albums is Coltrane's The Gentle Side of John Coltrane it's called, and it's just so puts me in a mood. And I really like Frank Sinatra's Jobim collaboration.
Yeah.
And
the Brazilian.
Yeah, so good, and it's just so well produced and beautiful. And I listen to beautiful harmonies. I like harmonies. I like good melody stuff and lyric stuff. So I'm still. I mean, all the kinds of stuff. Billy Strings is really one of my favorite artists right now. But there's a lot of different artists that I love very much, and great songwriters: Jason Isbell, Nathaniel Rateliff, Tyler Childers, and Sturgill Simpson, and these guys. They're sort of where I feel like I like to see music going in that direction. And I like that people are gravitating towards that stuff now. That's cool. But I'm also into like Luke Combs and I like his music and Randy Houser's a really good buddy of mine.
Any thoughts on the course vlog that we shot where we filmed each of our shots?
Just recently?
Yeah, just like
when we did that thing together.
People are gonna potentially see us playing golf together. Is there any words you wanted to add to that? This is your editorial opportunity.
No, I just want to let it speak for itself, I guess.
The art is complete.
Yeah, I mean, I really haven't played much golf, so it's sort of like, we got some good shots in there.
Oh yeah,
but it wasn't nothing to write home about. It's a hard course too. I mean, it really is. It is. There's you can hit a great shot and it'll just bounce somewhere. You won't find it.
Yeah. The luck goes both ways over there.
Mm-hmm.
As far as a venue is the Luck Reunion is that kind of number one for you?
It's hard to beat being at home. I live there at the on that property and where my parents do, and whenever I'm with them I stay there this little house where I actually spent most of the pandemic. So it's convenient and it's well run. The Luck Reunion folk really run it well, and yeah. So I'm glad that it's there. I mean, there's some amazing venues all over the world for different reasons. Red Rocks.
Any questions for me?
What do you get when you cross an elephant and a rhino?
I already know this one.
Elephino.
Thanks for your time, Lucas. This was fun.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Look forward to seeing you on tour.
Me too. Yeah. Anytime you want to come out, and just let me know ahead of time.
We'll take you out for
play
some golf in the
golf
morning.
Yeah, exactly. You know, I can usually play like a 9 o'clock round, 9:30, and then if I'm done by, 2,
That's
go to sound
insane
check.
to me.
Round
of golf and then just go blast a show.
Depends on. Sometimes if I like when I don't have to do a sound check, because then I don't have to wake up early to play golf. I can go at 11 and be fine.
Yeah, because you're up pretty late on a show night, I would presume. Like, it's hard to even go to sleep, I would bet.
It's difficult depending on when the show ends. I mean, it just takes me a long time to wind down after that, and usually it's 2 or 3 in the morning before I'm asleep.
Billy Joel was my first favorite. And I was reading an article about him, and someone was saying, when he was doing the residency at Madison Square Garden, they were at his house in Long Island. They took a helicopter to Penn Station. Mm-hmm. He went on stage, and then afterwards they left. And the writer was saying, Billy Joel, is it hard to leave your home and then just all of a sudden be on stage at Madison Square Garden? And he said, no, that's the easy part. Yeah. The hard part is leaving the stage and then going home.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. You just gotta all that energy is just like,
Is it a drug in and of itself?
Yes, it is. I think it's adrenaline.
Science would say.
Yeah, I think it is technically a chemical reaction that produces a drug. Yeah.
Man, I would love to experience that.
Jump out of an airplane.
There you go. Yeah, I'll bet it's the same.
That's similar.
Because you're spending the whole flight up just being like, oh, fuck.
I don't actually think it's the same, though. It's not the same type of adrenaline. So I do think there are different chemicals at work when you play a great show. It's more of a just complete euphoria than it is a sort of like a doom, 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 doom. Yeah. Like adrenaline can be also anxiety inducing.
Yeah.
Which is not the feeling that you get when you play a great show, when you end a song, when the crowd's singing along and people are just there with you. It's this sort of like almost this very fulfilling feeling where you're feeling like I'm doing what I'm meant to do and my life is going well. All these things. Life is fun. It's okay. Everything's going to be fine. Bob Marley, everything going to be all right.
You almost you have this position there on stage where it's like you're simultaneously connecting with all of these people and you're also kind of conducting the experience. Like you could stop playing and maybe everyone would get quiet. Or you could kind of like write whatever record you want in the moment.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what the idea is, to curate an energetic sort of journey experience for the audience, and to have them be with you all the way, and to figure out how to capture them and hold them and ease on the brakes a little bit when they need a breather, and then keep it to the point where they're just engaged, because it's impossible not to move, to look away, to cry, whatever, You're presenting an experience to people, and you are sort of trying to stop time for a minute and let time sort of catch up when it's all over, is the hope. He's just hobbling.
He'd like to stop time.
Yeah, buddy.
Hey, buddy. All right, man. Well, yeah, thank you.
Yeah.